It's time for Real Estate 101 with the Karey Brown team from Realty Executives Preferred Advisors.
Good Saturday morning. This is Karey Brown, broker owner of Realty Executives Preferred Advisors, and you're listening to Real Estate 101. And I am here this morning with Troy Brown, who is the owner of Brown's Tree Service, also known as my husband. Good morning, Troy.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing good. He was picking on me earlier because he says it's pretty early for me to be out of bed.
It is.
It is. It is Saturday morning. I was really glad that they didn't put me at an 8 o'clock time slot because that would have been really, really bad. I'm so glad Cameron's an early morning person.
Well, I could get up and mow the yard then without getting in trouble.
All right. Enough about me. Next thing you know, he's going to be bashing on the fact that I don't cook.
Well, there is that, but we don't have to cook as much now that the kids are getting older anyway.
This is true. They ditch us. We're kind of almost empty nesters anymore. The dogs have become our entertainment.
Our new children.
Yeah. All right. So back to what people really want to know about. So one of the questions that I have online was the emerald ash borer. You don't have to go like deep dive, scientific, all that kind of stuff about it because, you know, it is Saturday morning and we don't want to put them to sleep too fast. But how's it treated? What is it?
We treat it with an injection, and it's a 3-year treatment. So if you have an ash tree that you like and you want to keep all varieties of them, it's not particular to any one variety. It takes them all. You need to get a hold of us so we can start treating them because it's coming. It's here in Shawnee County. We found it 2 years ago at 29th and Croco. Was the first one, and Shawnee County has now been quarantined. You're not supposed to be moving any of it out of Shawnee County. So it started in Detroit and it's moving its way west. It's non-stoppable.
So when you say moving it out of the county, how does it not just move with the wind?
Well, the bugs move themselves. Yes, so you're not supposed to be moving firewood or any tree material out of Shawnee County at all.
Oh, gotcha. One of the other one was the Japanese beetle.
Yes, that is another one that it's not really controllable, or you can't eradicate it. You can control it some, and next year is going to be worse. We started spraying them this year for the first year, and each year this thing's invasive and it's going to keep coming.
Is that something that's just new to the area?
Yeah, it's probably been here 3 to 5 years now, if I'm guessing. And it's just each year they're multiplying big time.
Oh, so they're just having babies and having fun. And
oh, yes.
Yeah,
they have like 3 life cycles a year, I think. So.
Oh, wow. Man.
Somewhere they have multiple life cycles a year. I'm not sure how many for sure, but.
Well, that's not good.
No.
So, just for clarification, Brown's Tree Service sprays.
Yes.
Trees.
Yes, we treat both the emerald ash borer and bagworms. Oh my gosh, the bagworms were ridiculous this year. There was multiple life cycles on them too. We're still seeing small ones where they should be done.
And so if they wanted you to come out and spray for these things, what number should they call?
379-9212.
All right. And do you take orders online? Can they go out,
They can go to the website at brownstreeservicelc.com and fill out an estimate sheet online. There's places all over the website to get that done.
Okay. And remember to put the LC at the end of it because, as you can imagine, Brown's is like really common. And then so is Brown's Tree Service. So Brown's Tree Service LC.com.
Because there's several Brown's Tree Services in the United States, believe it or not.
Yeah, you could end up with somebody from
Louisiana or Florida.
Yeah. Be like, yeah, I drove a long time to get here. Another question I got was with a recent windstorm, they had a guy knock on their door saying, hey, I'll take that tree off your driveway. And it hit one of the cars. And they had asked, should we have called our insurance company? Well, the answer to that is yes. But will you elaborate on that some more? I know you're in and out of that every day, so.
The tree hit the car or the gentleman that took the tree hit her car? Which one happened? Because they both happen a lot.
No, actually, the tree hit the car. Yeah.
So, yes, I would call the insurance company and usually take your pictures. And if you get it done, if you got pictures and proof that it was the tree, the insurance companies will take it. But I'd always call your agent just as soon as the storms hit. And then if you get a guy knocking on the door, too, you need to make sure he's got insurance, because if he hits the car and ain't got insurance, then all of a sudden you're going to be paying for all that out of your pocket. On the cars, sometimes the car insurance picks it up, and sometimes the homeowners picks it up. So you got to, depending on which one. But if it's on the house, it's the homeowners.
The same thing goes with it if it falls on a house.
Yes, I mean, definitely get a hold of your agent right away. I mean, if it's on your power line and everything else, you can usually take your pictures, get us hired. We can get out there as quick as we can and get you started so you get your electricity back on. Or get your roof tarped if there's holes in your roof, because that happens a lot too. So. And
for clarification purposes, in that particular instance, the insurance is paying the contractor, not the homeowner, correct?
No. The homeowner pays us and they get reimbursed from the insurance company.
Okay.
So the homeowner is always liable, but they get reimbursed from their insurance company.
So they need to make sure and get that to the insurance company.
Yes.
Okay. And
I actually had one yesterday that paid his electric bill. It was $1,800 to the electrician, and our bill was $1,100, and he thought he was paying it out of pocket. And luckily, I asked him, I said, well, you got your insurance? He goes, yeah, but will they cover this? And 9 times out of 10, they cover it. Some insurance policies are different. They're all different a little bit, but so you just got to call them and see what you're covered under, or check your insurance policy ahead of time, especially if you have a large mature tree. It's not a bad idea to find out what kind of tree coverage you got, because if you have a large, very large mature tree, you want to make sure you're going to be covered if something does happen with it.
Absolutely. And a lot of the ones cover, Mother Nature. Absolutely. So,
some insurance, we've seen in policies where they only give you $700 for the life of the policy for tree damage. And that's all you get. So if you get a large mature tree, you might be looking $4,000 or $5,000. And it's all going to be out of pocket if your insurance ain't covered you right.
Wow. That is, so definitely ask. That's the bad thing about
ours is that way. We're only getting $700, but I think we're covered.
Well, I would hope so. Surely we could get discounts, and is how we know somebody that owns a tree service.
Yeah, we can get it handled.
Okay.
They'll cover the house damage, but just for the removal of trees.
Gotcha. It better be cheap.
If we're lucky, we can get first in line.
Well, I know better. We will be the last one getting serviced if there's a storm. Unless, of course, there's no power. Then he'll be moved off of whatever it takes to get the power back on. And then we'll still be the last in the line. Okay, so one of the things that we've always preached, and I'm going to let you go into elaboration on that, but if somebody knocks on your door, what are the things that they need to ask for and watch for?
Well, they're not supposed to be licensed. I mean, you're supposed to be licensed with the city of Topeka and insured. Outside the city limits, you don't have to be licensed, but you still should be hiring an insured contractor. In any industry, really. Some people will hire, they're all right with it. They understand where they're at, but if that guy gets hurt, you become liable. So you got to be real careful with it. And the other thing, especially with door knockers, but just about any of the contractors, you don't pay anybody up front. Some of your construction jobs, you'll have to give them half of it for materials sometimes, that's acceptable. But I don't ever pay them up front, especially door knockers, because they're real famous for taking your money and running, and you'll never see them again.
Right, and that's typically what you find during the storm season.
We had a guy that was running around. He was doing jobs. He was getting paid for the job, and say someone would be by to clean this mess up. He'd make the mess and just leave it, do half the job, and no one could find him again. So I think the Attorney General finally got a hold of him.
Oh, wow. At least he did half of it. I don't know if there's an upside to that.
No, I mean, we had to clean one up, and the guy said, well, he said you were paying, or he paid you, and you. I said, no, he didn't pay me. I don't know who this guy is. He was putting me in the middle of this. This is how we found him. He was saying Browns was coming by, so the guy called Brown's Tree Service to find out when I was cleaning the mess up. I was like, well, I don't know anything about this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
So he got caught.
So don't do that again, buddy.
He did it several times.
Oh, wow. I wonder if he picked out other tree services too, or if he was just like, hey, let's pick on this guy today.
Yeah, I don't know if he was putting all of us under the bus or just me.
Oh, wow. So rumor has it that you're hiring?
We're looking for 1, 2 guys possibly. Right now we're needing a little more help. We're trying to get another crew going because we're so backed up. And we really, every year, we should be putting another crew on, but it's just something we've really trying to get done real hard right now. So, yeah, we're definitely hiring right now. Our pay's up. We're offering a lot of benefits, insurance after 6 weeks, health insurance, vacation and sick leave.
And so what positions are you hiring for?
Beginning, all level. If you're experienced and can pass a drug test and you're reliable to show up to work every day, we're definitely interested in you. CDLs, that's another big one we're looking for. We need another CDL driver. So CDL and willing to work, just not drive a truck. I mean, that's not really a position we don't have is truck drivers. You got to drive the truck and work when you get to the job site.
Can't just drive the truck there and prop your feet up?
No, there's been a few people thought that's what they were hired for. They don't last very long.
What is up with that? All right, so we're going to have a quick break here to have a word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Southwest Topeka has a good neighbor. State Farm agent Jim Garrison, now at 29th and Urish. If your current insurance situation has you going around in circles, get off the roundabout and stop in and meet Jim and his wonderfully efficient staff. Let Jim Garrison give you a quote and make the Garrison comparison. He's confident that with State Farm's competitive rates, the right coverage, and his unmatched service, you'll want to make him your new insurance agent. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and Jim Garrison is there for you, northeast of the roundabout at 29th and Urish.
This is Stephen Parkin at Invista Credit Union. Purchasing a home is one of the most exciting and important decisions someone can make. Let me tell you why Invista is the best choice for financing your new home purchase. First, quick pre-approval process. Our fast decision-making gives you the power to act quickly and make an offer on your dream home. Second, local servicing. We service your mortgage in-house. You won't get a long-distance runaround, but a committed professional whose only job is to help you. Third, experienced team. We are dedicated to simplifying the process and educating you through the home buying process. Come by Invista. It's okay to dream. In fact, it's encouraged. We are your home buying partner. Give us a call at 785-228-0149.
Thanks for joining us again. This is Karey Brown, broker owner of Realty Executives Preferred Advisors, and you're listening to Real Estate 101. And I'm back with Troy Brown, Brown's Tree Service, a.k.a. my husband. And so, I have another question for you. My oak tree is yellow. What should I do?
Well, that is a iron deficiency. It's basically caused through the soils, just a lack of iron. And it is really bad this year. We're seeing it everywhere. I believe no one's actually said, but we speculate it's because it's so dry is why. And it has been. So give us a call and we can come out this fall and treat it. We can put some iron in there. It's not real expensive, and it's usually good for quite many years. It's not something you got to do every year. Sometimes it's a one-time treatment. You might have to come back in 3 to 5 years and give it another shot, another boost sometimes. So, but we can definitely take care of it. If you got it, they're all over Topeka, small and large. So definitely give us a call if you got it. We'll do them in the fall.
Okay. And we've got another question. I have a bend in one of my trees. It looks like it might break. Is it possible to cable it?
In some situations, yes, we can cable them. It's just one of those things. If you got something like that, you need to have an arborist come out and look at it, inspect it, figure out what we can do with it, how bad a damage it is. Sometimes get a lot of weight off the end of it, and it'll prune it properly, and then cable and bolt them. We do both of those. Okay.
Oh, this is one you're going to like. I had a tree trimmer out, and he was using spikes. Is this going to hurt my tree?
Definitely. If you hire, whether they're an arborist or not, the only time you should wear spikes, is when removing a tree or in hazardous, dangerous situations where it's about safety first over the trees. So, yeah, the thing with the spikes, everywhere they stick it, it causes a wound in your tree, and then you'll actually start seeing sprouts come out of there, water suckers, and it opens up wounds, holes for bugs and everything else. So definitely, if you got someone spiking your tree and they're just trimming it, run them off your property. Tell them they got to go and give us a call. We can come out and take care of it right for you. There's improper pruning done all over the city. It's something you got to be really careful with. You might get some referrals from somebody if they're you're not real sure they know what they're doing, go look at some of their work they've done. Lying, telling something that's been bad, that what they're doing is they're just, basically they call it lion's telling. It's like a lion's tail. Everything's gone except for a little bit of leaves that out on the end of the limb, and they leave it like that, and it's one of the worst prunings you can have done to your tree. So if you're seeing something like that done to your tree, you need to call the city forester or somebody and figure out if this guy's licensed and doing that. I'd definitely report it.
Speaking of credentials, what are Brown's Tree Service credentials?
Well, we're Kansas certified arborist. There's several of us. Most of our crew foremans are certified arborist. And then we have Brownie is on the staff. He's ISA certified arborist, been in the business, for 50 years or more. Brown's Tree Service alone has been a longest-standing tree service in the Topeka area. So, and then we're members of TCIA, which is just more training that we get. And I go to a lot of them, and as you well know, that we like the winter ones.
Yeah, we do. They send us to places where it's warm. We like those lots.
It's always tropical. It's a good time to go to a conference.
Absolutely. And you are?
I am the president. We are a corporation, so I have a title as the president.
Of?
The United States. Oh, no, just Brown's Tree Service.
Actually, I was going with, what is your position on the Kansas?
Arborist Associations. Yes. I didn't realize that's what you were asking me, but no, I'm just on the board member. I'm the new guy, so I'm the guy that goes and get the water when they tell me to.
He's the one that likes to start trouble. He likes to argue with the older guys.
No, they don't argue very well.
It's a bunch of men. Okay, so...
It's not all men. There's women on there, too.
Oh, this is true. I don't know how they do it. Okay.
They all give me grief because I had to run to be on the board last year, and they only had 3 bodies running to be on the board, and they needed 3 bodies, so I just automatically elected. That's how I won.
You were a shoo-in. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I thought that was funny. Went straight for the president.
No, I'm not the president, nor do I want to be. I just want to help out.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk procedure. You get a phone call. You schedule a time to go out. You go out to give them the bid. Number 1, do you charge?
No, we do not charge for estimates.
Okay.
Sometimes we can charge for consulting. An estimate is how much to trim my tree. What is wrong with my tree can be considered consulting. And sometimes we get in situations where we do charge for time for that. It's usually about a $65 charge. We don't always do it. We don't typically do it a lot, but in some situations, that's all they're after. That's what it is. It takes a little more time than giving an estimate. So we do charge for consulting.
Okay. And so while you're giving an estimate, do you give the client a detailed estimate?
Yes, we do. We can email it to you, or we can write it up on old-fashioned way on a piece of paper. That still happens.
That still happens.
So we detail the bottom line, what it's going to cost you, and very rarely do we ever have to change an estimate. Sometimes it does happen, but it's typically the job changes is when that does from what the original scope of work was.
Meaning they add extra trees?
Added trees or even took some off of it.
So it goes down or goes up?
Or when we get there and it's an estimate to trim the tree, and we get in there and we start looking at it and we decide it might be best that tree comes down for some reason. So that does it. And every once in a while, it happens that something was missed in the estimate, so we'll have to renegotiate a little bit, but we're usually really fair about that.
Okay. And so when it comes to scheduling, how far out do you typically schedule?
About a week. It's just when we start scheduling out ahead. I mean, if someone says, hey, I want this done on September 13th, I can schedule that far out. It's not an issue. If someone has a particular date they want it done, we can do that as long as that day ain't fielded. But
or there's a storm or something?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons, because some people have an emergency come up situation, and we understand that, so we figure out a way to squeeze them in. So we try to keep a little bit of room in our schedule for wiggle room so we don't have to cancel appointments on people. If someone calls and the tree's getting ready to fall and crush their house, we got to get out there right away. You can't wait 6 weeks on something like that.
Right. Tell us what all types of services Brown's Tree Service does.
We are full service tree service. We professional tree service, I guess I would say. From pruning to removals to stump grindings to treatments of trees, the cable and the bolting, the removals. We can get into crane situations. We do some of the largest removals in town. They get expensive, and there's a lot of details go into some of them just to get safely done. So depending on the situations, whether we got to crane them off a house where the storm blows them over, just a normal removal. Trees hazardous, or try not to say hazardous anymore. It's high risk or low risk, because every tree has a certain amount of risk. And then we get into our pruning is what we really like to do, because proper pruning will save and prevent a tree from a lot of times them damage in windstorms and ice storms. If we take care of them every 3 to 5 years, they hold up in a lot more storms than what the ones that don't get trimmed. And there's a lot of overgrown trees in Topeka right now that need some trimming, a lot of attention on them. And we can schedule winter pruning projects too, which we like to do is schedule them for January and February. The pruning, it's a healthier time to prune your tree. The wounds heal quicker. So, and people don't think we can prune trees in the winter because there ain't no leaves, which actually we see a better structure of the tree during the winter. So we can get out there and trim them out, and we see which limbs need to go, the crossing ones, the weaker ones, the structure of a tree, so we can do a better job on it, really.
When you guys remove the tree, you grind the stumps too, correct?
Yes, we grind them out. It's usually 6 to 8 inches deep. It's good enough to grow grass. Some people ask when you grind a stump, can they plant back in that same hole? We don't recommend planting in the same hole. At least shift, when you replant a tree, at least 5 feet, just to try to give it a newer hole to grow in, so it ain't compete with the old root system that's left behind from an old mature tree. If it's a younger tree, sometimes we can grind it completely out, and then you can go ahead and go back in that same hole. If it's a smaller tree, depending on the size of the tree, really. So we grind it up, and then we level the hole out, and you throw a little topsoil on it, and you're ready to start growing grass.
You guys still have mulch too, correct? Yes,
we started selling mulch again this year, and we haven't really marketed much yet. I've just been behind schedule on that. But if you're interested in some mulch, we're not doing any of the colored stuff. We're just doing the natural mulch. It's a very good, nice hardwood mulch. Give us a call. We can get some out to you, or you can come pick it up.
And how much is it?
It's $12 a cubic yard is what we're selling it for right now. Next year, it's probably going to go up a little bit. I'm just trying to sell it and move it a little bit. I want it gone. But we bring it in, and that way we recycle our own debris. So what we do, we either do firewood with it, or we'll mulch it up and, put a little bit back out and stay a little green with it, I guess you can say.
So I have a question here. Whenever you first plant a tree, how long is it before you should start having an arborist look at it?
Well, that's actually a very good question, because most people plant a tree and then they call us 30 years later and say, hey, my tree's not very good shape. And it's kind of like raising your kid. You don't have a kid and then 30 years later start raising him, because you probably got a demon on your hands.
Maybe.
And so, at a very young age, I usually say about 3 years after you plant it in the ground, we really ought to start structurally pruning that tree and shaping it. Sometimes they do a little trimming on them even in the nurseries before you even take them out of the nurseries a little bit. So it don't hurt a year or two after planting, start training that tree to grow right where you want it to grow and shaping it without taking the limbs off, because then you end up taking... What happens if you don't start doing that, you end up with bad limbs and weak crotches, and your tree blows apart in a storm. So it's real important to start pruning them as young trees. And it's not known by a lot of people, really, that you should do that. They just think it's fine and it'll grow, and it does grow, and it gets overgrown.
Okay, so we just got another question. How should I mulch around the bottom of my tree? I've had several different people say that it's okay to pile around the base of the tree, and several say that it is not.
It's not. There's articles you can look for proper mulching techniques out there. You'll see a lot of volcanoes stacked up on trees. That's really terrible. What you're doing is causing a place for rot and decay and bugs to get in there up against the base of your tree. 2 to 4 inches thick. Smaller trees try to get out there about the width of the drip line. You can't do that with a large tree, but the more you mulch, the better off your tree will be. Mother Nature does her own mulching in the woods, so basically you got to look at it like that. You want it flat, 2 to 4 inches, and don't get it up around the base. Leave it right at the base of the trunk. Leave it back off your mulch just a little bit, so don't cause you don't get room in there for rot and decay.
So I did my own pruning in my yard. I didn't really have a tree to take down, but I do have a pile of brush. Do you ever haul those away?
Yes, we get those from time to time. If you do your own cutting or your family came out or whatever, however you got your brush, we can haul that away for you as long as we get our big truck in there. I mean, if we have to drag it, then there's going to be a little bit more of a charge, but it's $150 minimum trip charge for us to come get your brush pile. So, I mean, is it worth this to come get it? It's $150 minimum. If we start getting a large truck full, you're going to probably get $300 a pile, maybe $400 depending on the size of the pile.
And how long has Brown's Tree Service been in business?
Well over 50 years now. I mean, we've been around for a while, so that tells you that kind of quality of work we can do, because to be withstanding that long is not easy. And as you know, we've been in charge of it now for 18 years.
Yeah, that was my Valentine's present one year.
Yeah, it's been a good one, hasn't it? It's long lasting.
Yeah, it just keeps on giving.
Sometimes it takes.
And it does do that too. All right. So how do they get a hold of you if they are looking, number one, for a job, or number two, for tree work to be done?
379-9212, or you can go on our website at brownstreeservicelc.com and log into the website. And we got some information out there. I'm hoping to be changing the website here just a little bit this year and getting a little more information and update it some, but there's not a lot of pictures on there, so I'm really bad about technology thing.
He is. He's really bad. You should hear him. We both have our own home office, which is like literally across the hall from each other, and I'll be in there working away, and he'll just be in there saying all kinds of profanity at the computer, and and it's really over something so simple, and I'll go in there and it'll be like, I just don't know how you do that. I just laugh.
Yelling at it never works either.
It doesn't either. That's awesome. All right. So thank you, Troy, for coming in. I'm going to tell you a little bit real quick. I listed quite a few houses this week. 4328 Southeast Chisholm Road for $179, 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,036 square feet. That is out in Horseshoe Bend, which also, by the way, if you didn't know, has its own fully stocked pond and its own playground. This place is great. You got to check it out on our website, which is preferredadvisorsteam.com. I also listed 549 Northeast Groton Street, which is completely rehabbed, 1099. It is a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,651 square feet. 7008 134th Street in Valley Falls, Kansas, 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 3,182 square feet. Also has a really nice shop out back. They have their RV, all kinds of things in that shop, so it's definitely big enough for anything you might want. And there was still tons of room in it. And it's practically brand new. They've replaced all the flooring and new granite. Very nice. $320,000. And also another one that's completely rehabbed, 2621 Southeast Tidewater Drive, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,483 square feet, priced at $135. Be sure and check that out. And 5729 Southwest 37th Terrace, 5-bedroom, 6-bath, 7,474 square feet for $675,000. That one's going to be open from 12 to 1 this Sunday, so be sure and check it out. And at any time, be sure and you can see all the photos at preferredadvisorsteam.com. And you can find any home in all of Northeast Kansas there. And if you're looking to buy or sell, be sure and give us a call at 785-213-5188. Thanks for listening to Real Estate 101.
Thank you for listening to Real Estate 101 with the Karey Brown team from Realty Executives Preferred Advisors.